We're going to add React Native SVG graphics onto our React app here using the React Native SVG and the React Native SVG transformer. First step is to download your SVG graphic. The advantage of SVG is that as it scales up, you make it bigger, it looks fantastic. There's no loss of the resolution here. So I'm on this site svgsilh.com. Another great one here is undraw.co. Just make sure that it's a public domain or some other type of graphics if you're going to distribute it. So inside of our project, on the root of the project, we'll create a new file. We'll call it assets. And then within assets, we'll create another folder called SVG images. Then move the SVG assets or copy it into the folder you just created. If you view it, you can't see it because it's in this type of text format. Let's add the React Native packages for the SVG. Yarn add React Native SVG. And we'll add the React Native SVG transformer. Yarn add React Native SVG transformer. All right, let's open up the metro.config.js. I'm just going to actually replace it here. And there's a link in the description if you want to copy and paste it here. Might be a little easier for the purpose of this tutorial. Main section here, we have the SVG extension, and it's going to resolve the React Native SVG transformer. Okay, now let's create another folder for types. So it's in project root. There's a new folder now called types. And we're going to create a new file here. The file will be called declarations. And in this file, we'll add some additional code here. In the assets folder, where we have our SVG images right there, we're going to create a new file. We'll call it index.ts. And then we're going to import, mine is a car. If your graphics call it something else, you can maybe call it something different if you want. And then we'll go, let's see, car future is the one I want because it's more futuristic looking. And we'll export the car. Then in the assets folder, so I was on SVG images under assets, but now I've selected assets right there. So within the assets, so it's one level up. So it's nested like this. You see it's still there. It's the one I'm working on. And the other index.ts is inside of the subfolder. Let's go back to the main.tsx file. This is what's handling our main GUI on the front here. And we can now import the component that we just created. Now let's render the SVG. So let's look for our return statement right there. and we can start putting the component in. Specify the width in pixels. And I may have to adjust it. Let's see whether it is square. All right. Oh, it's looking good. Looks beautiful. I think I'll keep it like this. You know, the 360 camera is often used for the internal shot of the car. Just wanted to point out that when I did the import, I had forgotten to put the / in front of the file name. So I initially got an error, but the error message was pretty clear and I was able to resolve it right here. Congratulations on setting up SVG, Scalable Graphics, with React Native. This tutorial is based on the work of Mr. Bobate Olusegun. We have the full written tutorial for free in our community. And we'll be continuing this video tutorial series, so please subscribe to the channel. This tutorial series is using a fake camera simulator, which we call fake theta. If you want to connect it to a physical device camera, like a RICOH THETA X like I'm using, we just adjust the endpoint to the endpoint of the camera and connect it with a mobile phone. If you do have a physical camera like this RICOH THETA X I have, when you press the take photo button, you'll have a live preview that's in 360 here. So you can see the full room here. I'm just scrolling around with the mouse. This is a live preview, and it's a lower resolution than the actual image. You can also list the photos you have on the camera. And these are an rectangular. We'll be changing this to cards in the future. You can see the image itself in rectangular format, and also this will allow you to take a picture right here. There's a slight delay as it takes the picture. The shutter button went off. It'll download the image from the camera and stores it here. This is just a GET request to get the image from the internal web server of the camera.